Good morning, Bimblers. And you join me at Pennington Flash. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done a video. We had all that snow, didn't we? Plus I turned 40 years young, so we had to go to parties and stuff. And last weekend I was moving house. But we're back at it now. Back to the grindstone. And I thought this week we should come back to Leigh for Leigh 2. So let's stop messing about and let's bimble.
Things to show me, but life just keeps turning back to the way things were before. All new this time, you would still see all that became attached from the way things were before. It just proves to me how it's meant to feel. We have motive, we have the time. We were meant to lead extraordinary lives. It changed with time. You still know me.
I'm not sure we're still in Leigh, Bimblers. We might be in Wigan, but we're certainly adjacent to Leigh, in Bimble in distance. If Pennington Flash is the largest flash in the Wigan and Leigh area, Bickershaw Country Park makes up for it in numbers. They've got 3 flashes here. That's Neverson's Flash, Diggle Flash and Fir Tree Flash, which I think is the flash behind me. If you don't know what a flash is, it's an unfortunate byproduct of coal mining. When they dig out all that coal from under the ground, it leaves great voids, and then the earth on top sinks into those voids. Then it fills up with rainwater. Rains quite a lot round here. Bickershaw Country Park, where we are right now, used to be Bickershaw Colliery. The first shaft was dug in 1830 by a couple of fellas called Turner and Ackers. By the First World War, they had 5 shafts here. There would have been an old tramway that took the coal down to the Leeds-Liverpool Canal and out into the world, to Leeds and Liverpool, but also linking onto the Bridgewater Canal to take it into Manchester or through Warrington to Runcorn. They were digging something called the Pemberton 5 Feet, which is a coal seam that goes underneath Wigan and Leigh, and also Pemberton, hence the name. In 1946, Clement Attlee nationalised most of the coal mines, 200 of them, at a cost of £338 million. He formed the NCB, the National Coal Board. In 1973, Bickershaw Colliery teamed up with Goulburn Colliery and Parsonage Colliery to form a mega colliery, with 7 miles of conveyor belts underneath the ground. Of course, by the early 90s, they were all closed. It was deemed by the government at the time not to be profitable. Much more profitable to have 600 men from the Bickershaw Colliery unemployed. And speaking of the unemployed, in 1972, a load of hippies descended on Bickershaw for the Bickershaw Rock and Pop Festival. That featured the Grateful Dead and Captain Beefheart and the Kinks and Cheech and Chong. My father-in-law went to it. Sure he wasn't unemployed. By all accounts it rained all weekend. A bit like the Woodstock Festival, and just as disorganised. The fellas on the gates were reselling the tickets as they took them. so they couldn't actually control the amount of people that were coming in. It was all organised by a businessman and another fellow who worked on Wigan Market, and the fellow who booked all the bands was Jeremy Beadle. You know, You've Been Framed and Beadle's About. Apparently he had a small hand in it. Sorry. By the end of the festival, they stopped trying to take the tickets, and all the people of Bickershaw descended to watch the Grateful Dead for free. It wasn't just my father-in-law that went to that festival though. Apparently Joe Strummer from The Clash went there to watch Captain Beefheart. He said it was the best gig he ever watched. And a very young Elvis Costello, aged 18, he came to watch the Grateful Dead. He would have been living over in Birkenhead at the time, so semi-local. Anyway, let's bimble.
Keep facing back to the way things were before. It should plainly show what we're meant to know. We have a motive, we have the time. We were meant to lead extraordinary lives, edged over lines. Days keep moving, but time just keeps falling back.
This is St. Peter's Church here in Leigh, and it was described by Nikolaus Pevsner as one of their most radical and thrilling churches. But who are they? That would be Edward Graham Paley and Hubert Austin, some of my favourites. It was all finished by 1881, and it took 2 years to build. It cost £7,000, which is about £700,000 today. But radical designs take time and money. It partners up with St Mary the Virgin's Church in Leigh Town Centre, which is also designed by Paley and Austin. Another right Bobby Dazzler.
Proves to me how it's meant to feel. We have a motive, we have the time. We were meant to lead extraordinary lives. It just proves to me how it's meant to feel. We have a motive, we have the time. We were meant to lead extraordinary lives.
You might be wondering, Bimblers, are there any famous people from Leigh? Well, Pete Shelley from the Buzzcocks, he was from Leigh. And these days, you have the lottery winners. You alright, guys? But Leigh's original rocker was Georgie Fame. He was born at number 1 Cotton Street, which is where we are now. He was originally called Clive Powell, but a very famous impresario called Larry Parnes discovered him and changed his name to Georgie Fame. Larry Parnes changed all the names of his artists. According to my big book of Bimble, he changed Ronald Wycherley to Billy Fury, and Reginald Leonard Smith to Marty Wilde. So by extension, he gave Kim Wilde a name as well. Georgie Fame's big break came with his song Yeah Yeah. That's what I said Yeah Yeah. You know the one. But one of my favourite songs by him is from his album Going Home. It's called Sister Jane. That was wrote by a fella called Earl Oaken. He's not from Leigh, but I find him very entertaining. Anyway, let's bimble.
Big plans are easiest to make. Aim for the stars, it's yours, just wait. Best along the way, but it's those arms that told me I don't care if it's yours or mine. Without you it's just a waste of time. You showed me from the start such inspirations need a heart to bring you round. It could be ours. Big aspirations need a heart to hold you, heart to hold you down. Though some get get lost along the way. As sure as night designed the day, as long as I'm allowed to say, it's my heart that told me I don't care, you just disagree. Without you it wasn't meant to be. You showed me from the start, such inspirations need a heart to bring you out. It could be yours, big aspirations need a heart to hold you, heart to hold you. I don't care, you can say what you like. I'm a peace-loving person, but I know I'm right. It's as easy as right from wrong. I'm a lover, not a fighter, so I wrote this song. You showed me from the start, such inspirations need a heart to bring you round. It could be yours, big aspirations need a heart to hold you, heart to hold you down. From the start, such inspirations need a heart to bring you round. It could be yours, big aspirations need a heart to hold you, heart to hold you down.
And so, Bimblers, we reach journey's end. You might have noticed that I passed quite a few old mills on the way here. All very interesting in their own right, but I wanted to save up our talk about mills for this, Leigh Spinner's Mill. It was originally built in 1913 and extended in 1925, and it was built by the Horrocks family, who still own it to this day. In fact, they still make AstroTurf here in Mill 1 and Mill 2. It was designed by some clever chaps from Bolton called Bradshaw, Gas and Hope. We'll be talking about them in an upcoming Peaky Blinders Bimble when I get round to it. But they built such iconic UK buildings, according to my big book of Bimble, as the Grand Central Hall in Liverpool, the Manchester Stock Exchange, Stockport Central Library, and the Royal Exchange Theatre in Manchester. I've played in that. Well, in the cafe outside it. Leigh Spinners was really the last of its kind. We don't really make cotton here in the UK, so we don't build any cotton mills. But as I've said, it's still owned by the original family that had it built, the Horrocks family. And for us history buffs, they've got all of the original invoices, documentation, and the original blueprints. In fact, inside, they've got a heritage centre where you can go and see some of the artefacts from it. And inside, they've got a great big steam engine with two big pistons called Mayor and Mayoress. It was left to rust after they stopped making the cotton here, but they got a grant for £75,000 to fix it up a little bit. But apparently they need another £500,000 to get it going again. You see, the bearings have gone from all the thousands of revolutions it must have done making all the cotton, and from the decades that it was left to rust. It's a fascinating place. Plus they've got a little bit of a cafe where you can sit down and have a chinwag. I've just been talking to some of my fans in there for about 45 minutes. On top of that, on one of the floors, they've got the Northwest Computer Museum. It's a one-stop shop for all your geeky needs. And as well as all of that, they've still got the old original lift, which you can still ride in, right up to the top, floor 5, and back down again.